So we have joining us today, we have Vadim Kostrov, the director, and Christopher Small, who's one of our selection committee. So whenever you guys are ready.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm sorry everyone for that kind of Inland Empire style introduction to this, but maybe it does set a certain mood that might be good, because this film really is in itself very hypnotic, just like this loop that we just got caught in. I'm very happy to be joined by Vadim Kostrov, the director. Thank you so much for the film, Vadim, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Don't mention it. So, it's my pleasure, really, to be here.
And I mean, maybe we can just start with the impressions that we had when we were watching this film as a committee for the first time, because really, I think when you're first experiencing this film, you get the sense that it's something totally natural, something like a style of filmmaking that you've known your whole life, something that is really has a certain kind of familiarity to it, a certain movement through space that's familiar, but at the same time is totally original. And that's what's so striking about the film ultimately, is that in almost every scene, you're kind of inventing a new way of making cinema in some strange way. So it's always this double feeling, always this feeling of being home somehow, but also entering a totally new world. So with that in mind, I just want to know, first off, what your process of bringing films into the world is, because I know that you work quite productively, but
yeah, right.
But in the case of Summer in particular, how does this film begin? Where does it come from, and how does it develop into the film that we know now as this almost organic body?
All right. I said, я могу по-русски, наверное, сказать.
Хорошо, я переведу.
Мне, наверное, иногда все-таки будет по-английски удобнее. Ну ладно, давай. Сперва этот фильм начался из какой-то абсолютной тупиковой точки, абсолютного страха. Я говорил об этом в этой introduction.
So at the beginning, he started this film out of some kind of basically from nowhere, but at the same time from some kind of fear.
Yeah, it's because can I just continue in English? It would be more useful for me now. That's right. And in this moment, I was really paralyzed by the fear, and then I just opened the Google Maps and suddenly come to the place where I haven't been about 13 years, since my childhood, since I was 8 or 9, just something like that. And I just open it, and when I came there, I just felt really full of calmness. I really felt this full calm, and I decided that if I will live in this time, because I wasn't sure with it, if I will be in health, I must be there. I must come there, and that's what helped me to live by these 3 months that I was completely locked at the studio and can come to the site, even in shop, anywhere. That's it. It was the first feeling. Может перевести, если? Yeah, but it was like a point somewhere there, where is somewhere it's really far, it's light shining, and that's what I really wanted to do and to make. And I haven't anything, no camera, no cast, no script, anything, but I really wanted to come. I really wanted to experience it again, to come to this come to this calmness, to this original, to my original, to the start of my life, to this quiet water, you know, quiet river. You know, it'll come back to the quiet river, and even if we're talking as a Bible story, it's come back to the God, to the Eden place, to the place of, to the perfect place for live. Something. It was this garden for me. This garden was my Eden, and this time was completely full of shine, and in a sense, like a God was in everything and always being with me, like as a child, and you know. But after I came to the world, after this film's world starts, you know, the world and whole life with all the stuff that we know in the life. Yeah, it comes. But this was first, and was sitting and thinking and trying to find the camera and something, and I was really happy when I finally get the camera, get this DV screen, DV shot. It was really perfect. I was happy, and I find the Vova, the little kid. It was really a miracle, because it was impossible to find anybody, especially find the kid, and I wanted to he to be like me, like was I something. He could be smart or something, no, like everything, and I just find him on the one of the pictures on the some board with the photos on the local can I continue in Russia? Я нашел фотографию Вовы в отчете с праздника ко Дню Победы в местном ДК пионеров в районном Тагильском. Я просто открыл эти фотографии, я уже не знал, что делать, это было начало локдауна.
Давай я начну, давай я буду переводить частями.
Да, хорошо.
So he found this little boy. Well, he saw him for the first time on the picture, and this picture was in a photo album that he found in a. Где ты нашел фотографию?
Это был дворец пионеров, это был районный дворец пионеров.
Was from the photo
в Нижнем Тагиле.
From the album in the like pioneer. It's like a post-Soviet art center for pioneers.
Yeah, it's center for kids, and then I found he was just stand like this, out or just for the left side of the screen, just like this, and don't do anything. But I suddenly realized that he's here, and then I asked my teacher. I was going there in this place. I was a sinner in my childhood. Yeah, and I just wrote her, do you remember me, teacher? Do you remember? And she said, oh, right, I remember you clear. I'm just looking at you. I know what you do. And I said, oh, I just found the little boy there. I really need it for him for the film. But I don't know how can I find him, because it's no tagged any school and any names and anything, just about hundreds and hundreds photos with them, so many little children, and there was like impossible, because it was the end of March or start of the April, and everything was closed, everything, and nothing, nobody comes to the street, nobody talk, you know. and I just didn't know. But she said, "Oh, it's okay, I will try it," and I just don't. And I thought, "Oh, it's impossible." And one day after, she wrote me and said, "Okay, it's Vova Karetin. Here's his mom. Here's her number, and they are really agree to be in the film. Really wants to be in the film." And I was, whoa, I don't have anything, but I already have a boy. Like, okay, we already have to do it. And everything comes step by step. The camera and the shots, the location, the script, and everything. I spent hours and hours by the testing the camera. It was a book like this, like this, like instruction for this camera, and this it's really serious thing. It was a camera from 2003, from 2003, yeah. Sony PD is to 170, and it was really perfect. I just found this shot of that already brings you a nostalgia into some, maybe family videos or some local TV shows or something. For me in Tegel, I was watching the children's TV shows filmed on this, and it was really warm. And in some days, well, it's COVID in spring, I wasn't stopped to watch the newspapers and in any news, and I've started just see these shows that was recorded then, and I just to come there, just to feel that warm, and just to escape from all this, and to escape. And one more thing that I want to do in this film, escape there, and don't show anything about now, even anything about COVID, anything about all these terrible things that's happening. Just come there to my beginning, to get this freshness, to become alive again, and this from the Bible, in the figure from the Bible, he will return to his youthful vigor, and his flesh become fresh with youth, right? And that's where I really need it, and that's where I need. That's why I came there. That's why everything should be done, and everything was like a miracle. Like okay.
I mean, I should just say at this point for anybody in the cinema that please, if you have any questions, I believe Dora will help us
really,
fill. But if I what I find very interesting about when you're talking about the development of this film after you find this boy, is that you very quickly moved over the idea of a script when you were just listing the next stages. You found the boy, you got the camera, and then the script, and so on, so on, so on. But to me, this is totally amazing, because it seems like the film was kind of born out of the world and was born out of these elements that you had arranged somehow. But actually, I'm also very interested in this process. How it went from a cast to this beautiful film, which is so. It's like the Sheffield catalog actually says that it's like a breeze somehow, or like a lullaby, which it is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
At the same time, very intensely structured. It's very, very well organized. Characters almost have like this classical purity to them. So how does this come so simply from the setup?
Yeah, and I can say that I've tried to make these scenes, and in the beginning I was write pretty normal script, you know, like pretty normal with some dialogues, but I just take it out. It's like I wanted, and all right, and I'm just
Getting dark here.
I just make it by the faith, by the believing in the nature, and you know, it's all the film was like made on the by the inspiration, by this inspiration, like a spiritual thing, and everything was filmed like by the miracles, and I'm really not joking. I'm really not joking. You know, the first screen, the first shot, where it was really foggy, and it was the sunrise just starting. You know, I can't sleep in this night. I just don't think that I will be filming, but I can't sleep. And I woke up, and when I saw this, I just realized that I need to film it, and everything. I just making, if I would directed this thing, I just made the start, only start, really little start. I just bring everybody to real situation, to the real garden. You know, the grandma is my real grandma. She is really this house. It's exactly in this place and exactly these situations, you know. And I just saw on all this plot, you know, all this plot, like from the вечность, infinite, from the it can be happening for the decades, for the centuries, some situation like this, some situation of childhood, of you know, all this is yacht people, the yacht people every time comes by their going by these lights, you know, going to the somewhere. It's like something like this, but it was my pretty clear memories also. It was also my memories, and I made everything to not harm it, but I made only the start. I don't totalitarize all the process. I just make a little push. I made a little push and go away, and just feel the moment, and everything comes by the heavens, you know, by the heavens, everything. But it's okay, it's funny, Karin, all right, but it was like that, you know, the shot when it's the panorama to the little dim, you know, and grandma said, "Oh, as the sun comes." Oh, I couldn't really thought about something like this to shot, or this rainbow in a shot, or any. It's really many things like that. It's really, and everything comes, and you know the scene when the Pasha and Christina talk in a quiet place in the forest. I didn't give them any word, just situations, just some simple movements for the start. And Christina and Pasha, their real names Gosha and Dasha, there was their they was together for a time ago, and they broke up. And in this film, I wanted to try them then an opportunity to talk, because they really lost it, you know. And this movement, and I believe that especially movement of this film and his spirit just changed their minds, just to talk, just to open up their hearts and say what they wanted to say, how they really felt. That's why it's so natural, because that's it, because it's really true. It's really true. But you know, I just get the real situation, put it to the form of the something like kind of memory, or something universal, something, you know, somewhere in the plot, the place for them. I was thought about the place for them to feel it, and there was feeling it by his full really natural feelings, and everything was in time. And this situation with Gosha, that he was really lost, that he said that he lose this fire, and that's it. It can't happen with anyone, and that's what he felt. He was felt. He had felt then in this time, and that's why I just wanted to really really slowly swim into the quiet river, into really slowly, to don't really harm any single thing, you know, to manifest this nature, you know, to really show it, to really see on it and believe in it, save it in my mind in this film, because it's really important place for me. It's really mine. It's really mine, and I don't know. Maybe I will not be there anymore. Maybe in a time, maybe in few years. I don't know when. And but in this case, it will be with me, and that's why the locations was selected with so lovely, and I was it with great passion. The location. It's my places. It's everything. It's everything in this tiny frame. You know, everything just my quiet, and it's like you know, something intimate. But in something in by this way, it's clear for everyone, I think. These images, this this stuff, we all the people, and we live in we similar, we are like, you know, and we everybody, we born, we growing up, and we die, and that's it. That's what I want. And have I answered the question already? Yeah. And that's it. It was really like to don't harm, to live in with this flow. And exactly, I was prepared, and some scenes in the start was totally directed, but you know, the start of the film, you know, we sitting here, we starting here, we talk something. Okay, no, I said about it, and I started, but you know, it's like a totally free form, totally free, and I just try to save it in the most beautiful form that I can. It's like my perfect world, you know. It's this time, this tiny piece of time. Yeah, that's it.
Dora, unless you want to jump in, I'll just ask another question.
Yeah, carry on. We've got if I'm just going to reiterate, if anyone wants to ask any questions for Vadim, the code is on the board, and you can just go to Slido and ask them on there. But yeah, carry on, Christopher.
I'm, as maybe people can tell, I'm very, very touched by your description of the making of this film, because to me, it's really one of the most beautiful films I've seen that is about this this transition from childhood into very early adolescence, and somehow also this feeling of when you look back on this period, how it seems to be, for my life, and I think for many people's lives, both one of the most wondrous and beautiful moments of life, but also these limits of that in some way, you know, because also it's Nizhny Tagil is the name of the Tagil. It's a place I think many of us are familiar with. Cities like this, industrial cities that are kind of far from everything, so they do have limitations. They're not, they're not places where you're constantly, meeting people who are exactly like you and so on. But at the same time, your memories of these places are incredibly tender, and somehow this feeling is so strong. And really, like I think this film really captures that in a very, very beautiful way.
It need to be like this. So really maybe have to be like this. Thank you for this.
And I mean also it ties to the idea of these zooms, which also are one of the most really brilliant things about this film. Is also this idea, because what the zoom does in this film is it manages to amplify or navigate through this world without penetrating it somehow, or without damaging it. Because what you can do with a zoom is, and there are these moments in the film. There's one moment where you just zoom on Christina's waist. And this moment, I actually, we had the same, all of the programmers had the same sensation in this exact moment when the zoom goes there, of just sheer wonder. And this is throughout the film again and again.
I just felt like,
it's totally intuitive somehow, but then it creates a new world somehow. It creates something else.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, then even for me, it's like was like, wow, it's really made it. It's really something another, something not just a part of our world now, just something. This is that word in the word of the film, something different. It was very important. And this zooms was really important. I was working with the camera so long, and I was find it by the feeling. I just stand watching, and I didn't have the pure idea of how it will be. I just watching it, and I'm feeling it so deeply, and I'm with this zoom, with this stuff. I'm just trying to touch it deeper, touch it deeper to come closer, or put down, this, and here not harm it by the cats or something. It's another idea of this film. No cats. It's almost all this, like these scenes filmed by one shot, all these scenes where two people talk, filmed by one shot, but maybe two shots, but in the start. But this is the rhythm of the city, in the start. This is the rhythm of the city that can catch. They can go. It's fast. But when it comes to the garden, the first shot with Christina, it's really long and really calmly walking around the garden. You remember? Yeah, and that's different condition of the how is the time existing there, and different. And I really wanted to save it, how the time along there, and exactly in this place, and everything. No, and this stuff I can say about the sound also. It's a really original sound everywhere. Original soundscape. It's really important. The soundscape can certainly displace in this certain moment, and that's what I want to say. Like, and that was really important, and not to harm. I was fight for every sound, and then everything, just to don't harm it and give it like in this original thing, like. Like pure stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
I mean, that there is one obvious moment of rupture in some sense. Is this scene where Basha,
Pasha?
the guy, is playing the
Guitar.
guitar.
Yeah.
And I was watching it again this morning, and I was just seeing how the film has this rhythm at the start, and then this scene sort of just changes the whole flow of the film. It's like dropping a stone in a river, and it somehow rearranges the surface. And after that, the film just becomes so free to just move as it wishes, to be as slow or as curious about whatever as is required by the scene.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. We've just got a few more minutes, just to let you know. Thanks.
Okay.
You said what I mean by this scene?
Well, I mean, maybe we can just, maybe we can just end with the idea of because we've spoken so much about bringing this film to the world and not damaging it somehow while working on it. But I'm also curious, once you had all this material and you actually had some distance from it, how then you approached it. Maybe this is a good way to end, just to imagine how this was once the film had to be brought together into some way, from just from being footage to somehow being the film.
From yeah. And actually, I want to say that I was filming the more scenes with the Gosha, with the Pasha character. Pasha was filming the scenes how he's come from his house and having a really long journey near the industrial buildings, near industrial stuff, all this, by the whole evening, and it comes by to the night. But then I realized that only night needed, and that what will be after the night. And this was completely, I just was seeing on this, and I realized that these scenes with the guitar is completely, and Gosha really agree with it, completely match with the second scene by some musical stuff, by some music inside of it, by the some, and also by the coloristic thing, And I just put it, and I really wanted to this scene, like, this is music. It's like a pray, like a call to something, from the dark place, from the darkness of your heart, from all this, when maybe less like we felt sometimes. It's just really really loud, really sensitive crying to the somewhere there to God, maybe just question to heaven or something, It's like he's sitting just in the darkness, and only behind him we can see some little tiny light, it's really rainy. It's like, but by this music, it's how I see this. It can be read in other ways, but it's kind of, kind of stuff that you can't explain by the words. You just feel it. You want to explain it and get it to this light, to this. You can't stay in the garden for some reasons. He can't stay. He not stable. He wants to come out. You know, he had it, but he asked for calm. You know, something like this, and get it this question by this music. Okay, question why the real life is not maybe stable and full of some bad stuff, full of grief sometimes, and all this he felt in that time. And we was talking about this music before, really quietly, really little. We just felt it, and we started to do this. And it's just by the one shot, by the one cut, by the one scene. And that's how it was. And you know, when I just saw the whole editing, all the montage, and I saw this scene, and I saw this is really matched to Granny's scene, and this really comes to dialogue. You know, he trying, by the music he can't talk, but Granny knows something and trying to say maybe like a hymn in childhood about some simple things that she believes, that she wants to bring to him about, you know, about this. But it's not, doesn't work for Pasha. But he still wants this calm that can be in this garden, you know. Well, he wants it, but he stayed to this by his back. But he is still like still praying, still searching, still try to understand, still asking. And the scenes before, when he's smoking by the night at some hellish place, just really good matched. By the night, and days comes, but days really rainy and really uncertain, and anything uncertain. And you know, he was sleeping so long, and it's really matched. And that's why I put it this dark, and after this just like a highest point of this asking, of this crying, right? That's it. That's why how it's like how it was.
That's great. Thank you so much, Vadim, and thank you so much for sharing the film with us at Sheffield. And I hope that everybody who watched it was as moved as we were, as touched by this film as we were. So I want to thank you again, and thank everybody who has joined us, and remind you that you can vote for the Audience Award still. And yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you.
Thank you, Vadim.
So much.
Bye.
It was really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, a pleasure, really.